Okay, so there are a number of things I want to talk to you about. I'm really excited. You are listening to the Alex Spicer Show, and today I want to just discuss with you a little bit about religion and purpose. Now, this came up because of what recently happened, so I want to talk to you about that. What happened to me, I should say. What happened to me at a conference I attended, and also about the State of the Union address and DACA. So let's start with what happened over the weekend. So over the weekend, I actually went over to Vernal, Utah, and I spoke at what was called the Vernal Preparedness Expo. And I actually spoke at it last year, and I was invited to speak at it again. And so I spoke at it. And my topic was about, family prep, but really family prep came down to preparing your children how to defend God, religion, and morality in the public square. Things that obviously I'm very passionate about. And in the course of my time in Vernal, there was a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in years. I didn't know he even lived in Vernal, but he contacted me and said, "Hey, if you're going to that expo, let's get lunch." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be speaking at it." So I went out to lunch, and this friend of mine, he works in the jail systems. He's I guess the technical word is some sort of officer. I'm really forgetting the word. It sounds really bad. But he said that, after working in the prison or jail system, whatever, that he's become very jaded. Like he said that he used to feel like, man, religion, like if you just look at everyone as a child of God, you love them, they have so much potential, they're going to do so much good. Just love them, use your religion to help influence them for good. And great things will happen. But after seeing the sort of people he's working around, he said he feels very jaded and even very skeptical at times. And though he still believes in his own faith, that it's just been it's really hard to see people who really aren't going to change. That for them it's just a lifestyle. For them, he says that there'll be people in there, and what they do is they come in and they because they were caught making meth. And they're like, okay, I'll be here for a couple years, and then the second I get back out, I'm going to start making meth again, and then I'll be put right back in. Now, and they just go on the cycle, and he's just like, well, you have those sort of people, you have pedophiles or, sex offenders, all these guys that, men that he works with, that they just want to change. Now, obviously, this applies to men and women, but he started asking, kind of what my topic was about. And I told them, a little bit what it was about, and I said, part of what makes religion so important is that it gives us the motivation to aspire to something greater, for something better, because when you don't have that, then all you have for aspirations for trying to be better or for accomplishment is what you've been taught, what you get socialized into, what the world will teach you, and honestly, that's aiming pretty low. And how when you bring religion into it, the reason why religion is so important, just in society alone, is that it gives us a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning. Now, I talked about in my presentation, I told them about this, that the counterfeit of religion is politics, that the new religion of today is politics. And what's really dangerous about that is that, you shove religion out the door and say, it can't be in the public square. We can't really bring it up. It's really false or whatever else. And once you get rid of that, society tends to lose its sense of purpose in things that are noble and things that are good and enlightening. And instead, you end up with politics as your motivation, as your purpose, and that leads people to do a bunch of ridiculous things. I think of this, for example, let's go to the State of the Union address. You have all these politicians that are saying, I'm not even going to be there. That it would be insulting for me, or embarrassing for me to be there for the President's State of the Union address. Now, this sort of ridiculous behavior, honestly, it's an embarrassment on America that our leaders can't be mature enough to set aside differences, to respect the activities that are important to our nation. And so when politics becomes religion, this is why you have politicians, even the people leading these parties, and also all these other groups below them, acting so irrationally, or not even just irrationally, just immaturely, just ridiculously. That they'll say things like, it'd be embarrassing for me even to go. Well, that's because politics is your religion. That whatever is right in politically, whatever will make you look good, whatever your aim is for in politics, then you will act upon that, regardless of whether it's moral, regardless of whether it actually is good for the country or is mature, is respectful. It doesn't matter anymore. Like people, if that's their religion, that's their motivation, then they will act upon that. And so you have all these groups. You have. It's really embarrassing when you see all these people protesting, and then you ask them. There's these reporters will ask them, "Why are you protesting?" And they're like, for example, like the women's march, like women's rights, right? Yeah, yeah. Like, well, specifically what? Like, what do women not like? What can they do? What don't they have the right to do? Or what's really the struggle going on? And a lot of times you come down to it and you go, okay, the reason why a lot of these people are protesting is it's completely illogical, and there is no actual rhyme or reason to it. It's because it is their religion. It's like your pastor or priest or bishop says, hey, I want everyone in the area to gather together this day. It's a Sunday, so we're going to worship. And so everyone gathers together and they participate in the activities of worship. What's very similar to that? I want all of you people to gather together. We're going to protest. For what purpose? I don't know, to make a point or something. It really doesn't make much sense other than it's a way of showing power. And honestly, I think the greatest power that's being shown is not that there's a voice of people who are willing to speak. It's that there is a small number of people in political power that it's showing their power, that they have the power to whip people into a frenzy and to do things at their command, regardless of rhyme or reason, regardless of there being a point, of there actually being a real need to do so. That it doesn't really accomplish anything other than to show that those with power have more power than we, I guess, first assumed them to have. So if politics becomes their religion, then that's the motivation. But for overall in general in society, if you don't have religion, then motivation, it will be sought elsewhere. There's a purpose. Like, religion provides purpose. It provides purpose to life. And when that's missing, that is a vital part of human psyche and human life. That mankind seeks purpose. That's why all of civilizations have created some sort of religion, some sort of system, organized beliefs that they can live by, that give their life meaning, that give their life purpose. When that disappears, then it becomes some other creation. And generally, when it's not religious, because religion tends to be peaceful, then it tends to be something more corrupt, more devious. And politics is the greatest of deviant purposes that you can really have, because it's all about power. Now, speaking more of the State of the Union address, President Trump, he talked about unity. I want to have unity. Honestly, my thoughts are this. He's right. America needs unity. We need to set aside differences and have greater unity. I think step one should be for someone to confiscate his phone so he stops tweeting, and step two would be to take a wand full of sense and just tap a bunch of these politicians on the head. Honestly, we're not going to have unity if we can't lay aside differences. And one of the greater reasons why there is civil war and conflict in any and all nations is when you can't set aside differences, when they are when everything is polarized, and you can't find middle ground. You can't talk. You can't come together on things. And this is what it was like before the Civil War, as I've already talked about. So yes, I agree with President Trump. We need greater unity. And I didn't get a chance to see it all. So I'll just stop there. But just know that Trump has a lot of things to work on himself as president, but so do all of our politicians. That just jumping on the bandwagon and saying, yeah, Trump, he's so bad, so immoral, when they themselves are, very guilty of a lot of other immoral and bad things themselves, just seems very contradictory. It's very hypocritical, and excuse me. The American people are very sick of it. Now, DACA. This is really important. Well, what is the moral thing to do? Honestly, the question is, what do you do about these dreamers, right? About these people who came over illegally, these kids who were quite young when they came over, that America really is their home country. What is the right and moral thing to do? And I have to say, I'm very, very annoyed. I'm so disgusted with this sentiment. There's a sentiment out there that if you're truly Christian, or if you have any sense of love, you'd be a Democrat, and you just want to, give dreamers and all these illegals, all the things, whatever else. And what's really stupid about that, and I really mean this, what is ridiculous about that statement is that they don't understand what love, mercy, and compassion actually are. And the other side is, I will admit that the other side of the aisle is very, very vindictive. What I mean is, they're all about justice, right? There seems to be very, very little mercy. And that's the problem. We can't have extremes in both areas. Because you don't have, there is no such thing as love. You don't truly understand love. There is no love. There is no mercy without justice. And there is no justice without mercy. And without love, compassion. Those two work together. One cannot rob the other. This is something that is believed in very, very strongly in my faith. I'm a Mormon, and actually I believe that's why my own church came out with a statement saying that we should be careful when it comes to creating laws for these so-called dreamers, for DACA, because we don't want to be splitting up families. These are, for a lot of these kids, this is their own country. That there can be steps taken in order to satisfy laws and justice, but also acting in a merciful way. That's essentially what they were saying, and that's true. We don't have to say, you're here, let's just kick all of you out, because I think we'll be missing a great opportunity to do a lot of good in people's lives. It is robbery, it is wrong for illegals to come here and take advantage of our system. Just like this undocumented illegal immigrant who came over and she was valedictorian of her class and tweeted about it, and now she gets a full ride scholarship to university. But the thing is, that full ride scholarship is being paid by people who pay taxes, and illegals don't pay taxes, right? This is one of the many problems. But that's not to say that those people aren't willing to, right? There's a underlying culture which has been perpetuated primarily by Democrats, but also by Republicans, that you come over illegally and you say hush hush and you just kind of stay under the radar. But honestly, I think there are really a lot of people who, based on the way they live their lives, would absolutely love to be Americans, would love to be a contributing part. They don't want to get sent back. And I think there are a lot that should be sent back, obviously, clearly, based on their behavior. But I honestly, you should take it on an individual basis. What does their behavior say? And then what will their next behavior tell us? What I mean by the next behavior is, if you then set up parameters and rules and say, okay, we know you, we'll find you, and here are the things. If you want to be here legally, if you want to enjoy these benefits, then turn yourself in and go through these legal processes. We're not going to jail you or anything like that. We're gonna make this official, right? Whether it's citizenship or just a visa or green card or whatever else, we want to make a whole legal setup here. We want there to be law. We need lawfulness. That's true. We need lawfulness, and by doing that, then. And if they take actions on that, then we know the sort of character that they have, and that is that they are good people. They are willing to contribute. They aren't just trying to milk America for what it's got. There's so much to this, but we have to remember, you can't have love, mercy without justice. It is ridiculous, and that goes for everything else. And I'll just say simply, maybe I'll do another episode later about love, but said simply, love does not exist without boundaries. Without there being some sort of boundaries that define where providing compassion and mercy have to cease, because then you have mercy, right? Because compassion and mercy, or then you have justice, because compassion and mercy come from love. But love does not mean we love everyone no matter what their actions and behaviors give us. That really, we can still love someone and very much disapprove of what they do and their lifestyle, because we know that it's wrong. Love unconditional love is not about allowing people the unconditional warrant to do whatever they want. We still know what is right and wrong, and we have to hold to that, or else America loses its sense of right and wrong, or else we screw ourselves up in so many other ways. Like I said, I'll go into this later probably for another episode, but just know we need love and compassion. We need justice. People should stop being like, yeah, just get them all out. Well, we're kind of at a situation where there should be some, there's a better way than just mass deportation. And there's a better way than just mass legal status. And yeah, I'll just stop there. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to be posting, keep your eyes open, I'm going to be posting some clips from my presentation I did at that expo. And if you liked what you heard today, click the like button, because, oh, I love it when people click the like button. It just makes my day. Also, hit subscribe. Get my videos, get what I'm doing. You can also go to my website, alexspicer.com, and there you can find articles and additional resources, including information more about my book, Pillars of Forgotten Pillars. Anyways, live free until next time, and I will search for